I touch, that's fine for you. I do that 3 more times again, I testify for you. I told I like you, that bitch, I do it. All of them around you scared to do. I'm not. As long as you joking now here for me, I ain't got it. Mobbing, scheming, looting, I ain't your body. As long as you dreaming about me, ain't no problem. I don't got nobody just with you right now. For the truth, I look better under you. I can't lose when I'm with you. How can us lose and miss the moment? You just too important. Nobody do body like you do. I can't lose when I'm with you. I can't just lose and miss the moment. You just too important. Nobody do body like you do. You do. In the top tier ride with you, I feel like Scarface. Like that white bitch with the bob, I'll be your main one. Let's take this argument back up to my place. Sex remind you I'm not violent, I'm your day one. We had shit, yeah. It was magic, yeah. Smash and grab shit, yeah. Nasty habits take a hold when you're not here. Ain't a home when you're not here. Are they grow when you're not here? I'm saying I can't lose when I'm with you. How can I lose and miss the moment? You just too important. Nobody do body like you do. I can't lose when I'm with you. How can I snooze and miss the moment? You just too important. Nobody do body like you do. You do.
Main one running, are you frontin' on me and I'm the main one running? Are you blaming on me and you the main one running? Are you threatening me then I'm the main one running? Just tryna be your everything, main one running. Are you frontin' on me and I'm the main one running? Are you blaming on me and you the main one running? Are you threatening me then I'm the main one running?
I can't lose when I'm with you. How can I lose and miss the moment?
Let me show you how to see your YouTube.
Nobody do body like you do. I can't lose when I'm with you. How can I snooze and miss the moment? You're just too important. Nobody do body like you do. You do.
Look at her. Look at her, mama, man. Look at her. That ain't my girl. That's my nigga. Catch me out on Ocean Drive with her. Hey, catch me in the whip, ride with her. Hey, sipping something, bumping big, hypnotized with her. Pray you get that job in Tampa. That's only 4 hours away. Take a car, take a plane, baby, whichever is faster. Oh, whichever one is in the hassle. Oh, damn, yeah, man. Oh, never knew, no, I never knew that you be a freak and a friend too. Yeah, you into everything I'm into. Oh, I got something that I could lend you. Oh, a piece of mind, baby. Come and get a piece of mind. Yeah. Say you gotta work from 3 to 9. Oh, I get you home by a decent time. Wait, your bed, you can sleep in mine. Yeah, let's make it happen, girl. I need some time. Speaking of time, who stopped it? That's the feeling that I get when we lock lips. I got the weed at the crib and the liquor too. I fuck your soul, I release in your spiritual. I be your muse, bring your easel and pencils too. Here you go, you try and tease with them pictures you could.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, bruh.
Did not think this is how this stream was gonna have to go today, y'all. Did not think this is how today was gonna go. Cannot lie. This was rough. Wemby Hive. Where are we at, bruh? Where are we at today? A rough day for us, man. A rough day for us in the Wemby community. I don't even know what to say. I'm all over the place, and I'm sorry for that, y'all. But, I was not expecting to have to come up here and slander one of my favorite players in the league right now. A guy I believe is the best player in the world. But here we are, man. Here we are, because tonight was game 1 of the NBA Finals. The Knicks versus the Spurs. And, the story for this finals I thought was pretty good, because on one hand, you got the Knicks trying to win their first championship in forever, and the Spurs trying to win their first championship since, I think, what is it? 2014, right? Yeah, 2014. So it's been 12 years for them. I see someone saying it was Fox. Trust me, we're going to get on Swiper too. Not that Swiper, but Swiper the Fox, De'Aaron. De'Aaron sold in a major way. But today, we got to talk about a couple of things, because this was rough. This was rough. But what's going on, YouTube? Your boy Mustard is back. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've streamed, and I apologize. I took a little hiatus, and that's because I just had a lot of things going on. For those who don't know, I did join the military. So I was at basic, then I was at AIT, then I was moving all over the place, and it took me a while to set everything up, but I finally got my setup best way I can. Got my computer and everything here. Got my room. Still got to get some stuff on the wall, and we'll lock in at some point. So I apologize about that. Expect some consistency this off season. I got some videos planned. Trust me. I'm not gonna leave y'all hanging just because it's the off season. But yeah, Mitchell, it's time to re-up, because I got a lot of things to say about this game, because a whole lot of shit happened. And I mean it, a whole lot of shit happened. 1 second, y'all. Sorry. Just pulling something up. But yeah, a whole lot of shit happened in this game. But the story of the game is basically the title. Victor Wembanyama did not show up. I love Wemby. That's my guy. But literally from, I don't want to say beginning, because I think in the beginning he hit like 2 shots, including one nice 3. But from that moment on, he couldn't buy a bucket at all. He was really bailed out by the fact that he just kept getting to the free throw line. He kept getting to the line. And we're going to go here and talk about it. Trust me, we definitely are going to talk about it, because this was atrocious. This was truly atrocious. I'm going to pull this shit up. This was awful. This is the worst game I think he's had all playoffs. Outside of that game 5, I believe, against the Thunder, where I think he was like 4 of 15. That was rough. And the crazy thing is, the Knicks didn't play that well. All that hot shooting shit, they didn't have that tonight. That's the crazy thing to me about this game. The Knicks did not play a great game. The Spurs just played a worse one. Plain and simple. The Spurs played a worse game. This was embarrassing. This was rough. But let me pull this up right here so you guys can see. So, as you guys can see the numbers, this was the game overall score, 105-95. And if you look at, let's start with the Spurs first. Or actually, what y'all want? Y'all want the slander first, or y'all want me to give praise to the Knicks first? What y'all want? I'll do either or. But just let me know. What do y'all want? Because I'll give the Spurs they slander, but I also got to give the Knicks they respect. What y'all want me to do? Y'all want me to give the Spurs they slander or the Knicks they props first? Praise? Okay, let's start off with some props. Time to re-up, y'all. Let's start off with some props. Let's go to the Knicks and give the Knicks they props. So if you look at this, and it's hard to even give the Knicks day props because it's not like the Knicks had a great game, because they didn't have a great game. As you guys can see, Josh Hart was just, I know he was all over the place. He got his rebounds and assists, but he was just bricking shots all over, reckless passes. He's lucky. I'm shocked he didn't get no turnovers, but reckless passes. It was clear the Spurs' plan was to sag off Josh Hart, pay him no attention at all, so Wemby or whoever was even guarding him at the moment could just sag off and double Brunson, close out on Cat in the post, shade, all those things. And Hart could not capitalize. And I'm telling you, I kind of wish Josh Hart had a good game, at least scoring the ball, because that would mean like that's really the only game he's going to give you throughout the series. Because a game where Josh Hart is scoring and making his shots, I don't think the Spurs are going to win a game like that. I truly don't. I don't think the Spurs can overcome a Knicks offense that's been on a fucking heater from the beginning of the playoffs till now and survive a Josh Hart great game. So the fact that Josh didn't have a great game and it seemed like the game plan was working, that's rough. But I think the real thing about this is that down the stretch, the Knicks were out hustling the shit out of the Spurs. I mean, I know the offensive rebounds, the Spurs, it's in their favor. But if I'm really being honest, outside of the starting lineup, when the bench was in the game, they were getting cooked on the glass. I mean, look at this. Only one person had an offensive rebound with that bench. But Josh Hart, I mean, eating up the defensive rebounds. Cat 4 offensive rebounds in his own right. The numbers don't say it, but Cat kept this team afloat, because another story about the Knicks is that Jalen Brunson got hurt, which I can pull it up right here. Oh, shit. I was typing something else up. Jalen Brunson suffered like some kind of knee injury. I don't know if he pulled a Paul Pierce and had the shit, but he suffered a knee injury. My nigga low. And he came up in the clutch, don't get me wrong. But I'm trying to find where he did get hurt. I think, no, that's a foul that they missed. Jalen Brunson suffered some kind of injury. Here it is right here. I don't know. I think he hit his leg right here. Right here. And Brunson was holding on to his knee. So I think that's Fox that fell, or maybe that's Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes. That's another guy that was just terrible tonight. But yeah, Brunson suffered some kind of injury. So that came into play earlier in the game, and Cat stepped up. Like, Cat was hitting some big shots. They got the footage already lined up. Oh, no, they don't. But Cat hit some big shots for them. And I got to give him props and credit where it's due. I know the numbers don't show up, but when you got Wemby on you, I mean, your efficiency may not be the best. And it was really the 2 threes that he took he didn't convert. I remember he was on like a good heater for a minute, and he took a 3 that was contested at the top of the key, just like a little heat check. And he came up big on the offensive glass. You know, you removed the 3s, he was 7 of 13. That's over 50% from the field, you know. So that's that. And also Wemby got him in a little bit of foul trouble. I know it says 4 fouls, but he was racking up some fouls. Him, Josh Hart, and what's his name? Mitchell Robinson, I think even fouled him a couple of times or so. But, you know, a lot of the role players did not play their best game. And I think it was really the stars. And, you know, people say it all the time. Your stars carry you in these moments. And shout out to Landry Shamet. Landry Shamet had a big game, too, for him. You know, he hit 3 threes off the bench, hit a couple of big shots for them down the stretch. Got to give him his props where it's due, even though, you know, it's crazy that, you know, he had 4 fouls. That's kind of crazy. But he hit a couple of big shots. And that's why it's not really surprising that him and Josh Hart led the team in plus minus. Josh Hart, say what you even want to say about some of the way the Spurs were guarding him, but they couldn't take advantage of it. Josh Hart was a plus 22 tonight. A plus 22. And that's because despite the scoring, he had 4 steals, a block, 6 assists, 15 rebounds. I think that's leading both teams. Yeah, he led both teams in rebounds. Just straight up hustling. Straight up scrapping with these niggas on the boards. Straight up scrapping with these niggas. But at the end of the game, the clutch player of the year himself, Mr. Too Small. And I'm still not going to cook Becky Hammond for that because she didn't say anything wrong. She said her opinion, which is her opinion. And not only did she say her opinion, she said something that was backed by fact, whether you like it or not. But Jalen Brunson, despite getting hurt and starting off rough, because I think he started off like 2 of 9 or some shit like that, he came through down the stretch of that game. He hit so many big shots. I remember there was a shot I think he hit to put them up 5 with 2 minutes. I think because he was cooking Champagne. My God, Champagne was getting cooked, getting rocked. He targeted that nigga. And I know James Harden was having fucking flashbacks if he was watching that game. He probably wasn't because he was off in the strip club somewhere. But regardless, he was cooking him just like he cooked James Harden in that game when they came back, ironically, in a not similar fashion because they weren't like down 20, but they were down a good margin in this game. It wasn't until I think late in the third or early fourth where they came back and took the lead. So shout out to Josh Hart for just doing everything other than score. It's that simple. He did literally everything other than score. Everything you could ask for him other than put the ball in the basket, he did at a high level tonight. OG Anunoby hit some key shots. He hit a shot in the corner. I think they were up already like 2 points late in the fourth quarter. He hit a shot right in Wemby's face. It reminded me of that shot when Caleb Martin hit it in Giannis' face in the first round against the Bucks when he was on the Heat, and then he put the hand up. That shit, I ain't gonna lie. When that happened, I knew it was over. But OG Anunoby, hit his threes, played some good defense, made it difficult for Wemby on some of those plays and possessions. Karl-Anthony Towns kept him afloat earlier in the game. He was cooking Wemby on the perimeter. I love Wemby. We're going to get to Wemby later. But on the perimeter, he was getting tossed and turned by a lot of guys. A lot of guys. And Cat was one of them. He took him off the dribble a good amount of times. And Wemby did get a block or two. I'm not going to take that away from him, But Cat was giving him a little bit of that business, especially earlier in the game. Cat was giving him that business. He was dominating on the glass too. Mikal Bridges, he was whatever. I hate to say it like that, but he was literally just whatever. Brunson, like I said, Shamit, and then the rest, whatever. I mean, Mitchell Robinson had a broken hand, but he was doing well on the glass, so I'll give him that. And of course, he missed his free throw after the and one. Jose Alvarado hit some decent shots, and the rest is whatever. But shout out to the Knicks, man, because I'm gonna be real with y'all. I got the Thunder, or it's not Thunder. No, definitely not. I got the Spurs winning this in 6, and I still maintain they're gonna win this series in 6. Because in a game where they weren't shooting well, which brings us to the Spurs, they still barely lost. But that's a topic for a different part of the conversation. Because now we're going to talk about the Spurs. And I'm going to save the best for last because, Wemby, I got a lot of shit to say about you in this game. You did not show up the way I think a player that's deemed the best player in the league should play. But let's talk about it. De'Aaron Fox, we'll get to that nigga in a second. And Mitch Johnson, that is going to bring me to him in a second. But Julian Champagnie, I know he hit 5 threes, and he did great on the glass. I'll give him that too. But my nigga, they were targeting him over and over and over. Oh my God. That nigga Brunson saw him and licked his chops. Every fucking play. It was insane. It was insane. Devin Vassell, he had a couple of decent shots, but not really a great game from him. But if we being real, y'all know why we here. Y'all see the title. Y'all know what's up. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. Victor Wembanyama. 26 points. Cool. 12 rebounds. Cool. 3 blocks. Steal. Cool. But 6 turnovers. 6 turnovers. This nigga took 21 shots He's 7'4" and only made 6 out of those 21 shots. Buddy, what the fuck are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here? 2 of 9 from 3. He lucky as shit he got 12 free throws made. He lucky as shit he got to the line that much, and props to him for knocking down 92% of those free throws, and he was getting fouled. Some of them, man, maybe a couple of calls might have been questionable, but he was getting fouled. But this was pathetic. And it points to something that a lot of people have said. A lot of people have said. One of the things with Wemby is you can really get up under him and bully him a little bit. Cat was just bullying him. Anytime Wemby got the ball in the paint on a post-up, tried to take him off the dribble, fact of the matter is he couldn't do it. Cat was just a little too strong. There was one play at the end of the game where Wemby kind of just straight line drive, bumped Cat, knocked him off balance. Cat fell, Wemby fell, but Wemby got the and one, and props to him for that. But other than that play, Cat was bullying Wemby defensively. Wemby couldn't take advantage of a Cat mismatch or a Mitchell Robinson mismatch. It clearly wasn't a mismatch. I don't even know what I'm saying. It clearly wasn't a fucking mismatch for them. Them niggas was locking him up. Plain and simple, they was locking him up. And then the turnovers. At the end of the game, I think the Knicks were up 4. Wemby comes down the court. I think there was like a minute left. Wemby just straight up lost the ball. Just lost the ball. Y'all remember that game where T-Mac had 13 points in like 30 seconds and came back? And then the play before T-Mac hit the final 3, that nigga just lost the ball and fell on the floor? That's what Wemby did. That's what Wemby did. Choked. Piss running down this nigga's leg. Piss running down this nigga's leg. 7'4", smoking layups. Even on some of these plays, he got fouled. He should have had like 3, 4, and ones. Bro was smoking layups. Smoking gimme layups. Nigga, you're 7'4". And that's one thing about Wemby that I've always wondered. What is his bag really? Because other than that little spin move he doesn't really have a go-to package, a go-to move he can rely on. All he do is turn around and dunk on niggas, shoot over the top of niggas, occasional handles. But when you got a nigga that moves his feet well on a play, or a nigga that you can't bully your way to the rim on, or you can't shoot over the top of niggas because you just don't got it like that night. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And all you niggas saying he's too young, y'all gotta pick a side, because I don't use that excuse for this nigga, and I'm a Wemby fan. I think Wemby can become the greatest player that we've ever fucking seen. But the fact of the matter is, my nigga, you gotta play better than this. This is game 1. You're at home. Can you imagine what that Knicks crowd is gonna do when they get to MSG? Especially if they up 2-0 because you blew it in a game 1 and potentially next game in game 2? This is nasty. 6 turnovers? That's nasty. That's nasty as fuck. What are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here, Wemby? Step the fuck up. You gonna get outplayed by Karl Anthony Towns? You gonna get locked up by Karl Anthony Towns? Nah. Come on, man. Come on. We gotta do better than that. We gotta do better than that. We gotta do better than that. And yeah, he's young. This ain't gonna be the end of his fucking career if this nigga loses in the finals. Especially even if he plays bad. LeBron played bad in 07, I get that. But nigga, this is a moment right now in time for them to capitalize on something that is special. And the Knicks are not like world beaters. Okay, I get they've been playing like world beaters, don't get me wrong. But they're not world beaters in comparison to the Spurs team. Wemby's got enough. He's got enough because, you know, we talking about praise, and now that we're on the Spurs, very few players I can praise for this performance. But one player I am going to talk about is Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper was hooping. I don't even know if anybody got any clips of Dylan Harper on Twitter that they posted. Let me show y'all something. This motherfucker Dylan Harper was hooping tonight. Hitting some of the craziest finishes. Look at this shit. I know De'Aaron Fox was watching that shit like, that's a great game from a backup point guard. Hitting his threes. And that's jumper, you know, it's got to get better at some point. And they said he ripped off 8 straight points. Look at this shit right here. It's like the way he finishes, he's so crafty, smooth. and quick with it when he needs to be. Like he has a feel for the game that you rarely see from players, especially a rookie. And he came out the gate cooking. This was early in the first quarter and one. He kept them in that game. He got them that lead, really. And now you see the numbers here. Dylan Harper, 16 points, 8 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 60% from the field, knocked down a 3, made all 3 of his free throws. And the weird thing about this performance is, nigga, we watched him hoop like that, and Mitch Johnson took him out the game at the end. Because the craziest thing about how good Dylan Harper was playing, it ain't just that he got taken out. It's who he got taken out for. De'Aaron Fox was trash. He was terrible. This nigga had 7 points. This nigga had 5 fouls. He had more fouls than shots made tonight. This was pathetic. He was turning the ball over. He couldn't get to the rim. He was missing gimme shots. He couldn't space the floor. Nobody guards him out there. And on his 4 attempts, he missed all 4 of them shits. He missed a free throw. This nigga was smelly. He was doing cardio. The dynasty starts after this nigga. And if this happens again in game 2, Mitch Johnson, bench him. Get him off the court. Because it ain't like he guarding somebody. It ain't like he's helping the glass. It ain't like his playmaking gravity is off through the fucking chain. Because I promise you, defense is going to start respecting Dylan Harper more than they respect De'Aaron Fox. I mean, there was even a play where De'Aaron Fox, I think he had a transition dunk. And it was so sad to see because on the dunk, he just stopped and dunked that shit. Maybe he just wanted to conserve himself, whatever. But he ain't even the athlete he was like 2 years ago, much less 5-6 years ago when he came in the league. And that's to be expected. He's older, had some injuries. But it's sad because he was a player that I don't want to say was dependent on his athleticism, but what made him a special kind of talent, especially coming into the league, was his speed, his verticality, his ability to move through like tight spaces and things like that. Because of it, split the screens. It's sad to see what he is. He's not that player anymore. He ain't that guy no more. This nigga is in the NBA Finals throwing up tour dates. This was embarrassing. I don't even know what to fucking say. And to take him out at the most crucial part of the game, Dylan Harper at that time had 16 points, I think with 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Cooking, on a roll, 60% from the fucking field. They benched him. He ain't come in throughout the rest of the game. This nigga was an embarrassment. De'Aaron Fox was an embarrassment on that court tonight. Truly, an embarrassment. I don't even know what to fucking say. I don't know what to fucking say. I don't know what to say. Mitch Johnson, bro. You can't be trusting your vets like that, especially if they playing that poorly. I mean, why the fuck was Harrison Barnes getting burned? Get him off the damn court. I remember Harrison Barnes took 2 threes tonight, and the moment that shit left his hand, actually, the moment he got the ball, I said, any shot this nigga throws up, even he don't think he gonna make it. And he didn't. Nigga went scoreless. Running around doing a bunch of nothing. I don't understand it. Truly. I don't understand it. Luke Cornett, he was in the game for 10 minutes and had 3 fouls. Jesus fuck. No. Lord forgive me. Jesus Christ. Please save this team. And that's another thing when I look at this Spurs roster, right? The Spurs are a team that obviously is very Wemby dependent in a lot of things, especially defensively. But I look at this roster, right? Where's the size on this team to really impose their will physically on any opposing roster? Because, right, you look at this team. And where's the size other than Wemby? I mean, Champagne, what is he? 6'7"? That's really the tallest player outside of Wemby, other than Luke Cornett, who, only so much that nigga can do. Right? I mean, I think Harrison Barnes is 6'8", 6'9". 6'7". I was off. He's 6'7". Another 6'7" guy. Keldon Johnson, I don't even want to talk about that bum. But there has to be, whether they win or lose these finals, they have to address the need of size. Getting Wemby a legitimate power forward. Bam Adebayo, how you doing? But I'm just saying they got to address that need at some point, because Wemby can't go out there and be the only guy that can dominate inside the paint. Because outside of Wemby, I mean, Champagne, he did have 10 rebounds tonight. Props to him, but you can't rely on that to be the norm. Castle did what he could on the glass. But somebody that can impose their will on the inside, because Wemby at times, he can be bullied and pushed around. If he's going to have nights like that where he's thrown off balance by the physicality of somebody like Karl Anthony Towns or Mitchell Robinson, then somebody else got to be there to help impose their will on the defense physically. And whether it's rebounding, post touches, whatever the fuck it is, somebody else got to be there. You notice that nobody else can be a role man on this team other than Wemby? That's it. Nobody else. You gotta have somebody else that can duplicate that kind of ability, because they are too Wemby dependent for a lot of their offensive production. And in a way that could have fixed that, Mitchell Robinson could have fixed that at the end of the game, at the end of this game. Tongue twister. At the end of this damn game, by keeping Dylan Harper in the damn game. I guess we can't do that because we can't have nice things. We can't have nice things, y'all. This was insane. This was insane. This was an embarrassment of a game. And the Spurs, they blew it. They blew this shit. But I see we got 88 people up in here. Appreciate you guys. I'm not leaving yet. If anybody got any questions, we could do a Q&A. Y'all want to do a Q&A right now? We could do one. There you go. You guys should be able to see it. I think it should be there. If you guys in the chat right now, make sure y'all drop some likes. We got 76 people up in here. How many likes we got? We got 20. Let's get that up. Let's get that up. We get those likes up, I promise I'll even bring some people up in here. If we get to 50 likes by the end of this Q&A, I'm bringing some people up in this stream. We could talk. If not, I won't. Plain and simple. But let's get them likes up. Okay, we got a couple questions coming up in here. First question, Najee. Is that Najee? For real, Najee? I can't tell which Najee that is. I don't think that's my boy Najee, but if it is, hey, you're still my boy regardless. You gave me a question. But Najee said, who is telling Wemby to take those threes? Nigga, I have no idea. His conscience. That's the only explanation. Because Wemby, a lot of times he does settle for jump shots. And I'm telling y'all, when he does not have a hot shooting night, the real issue with Wemby, right? When he doesn't have a hot shooting night, Wemby, he sometimes works outside in. Starts shooting jump shots, and then once he's making those jumpers, then he tries to take it inside the paint. But in reality, he should start inside, then go out, right? Because then they start biting on the threes more. Or excuse me, my bad. They might start letting you take some of those threes. You get better looks. It's a weird thing with Wemby. He's going to have to find that balance between being a perimeter player versus being an inside player. But I don't know who's telling him to take them threes. His conscience. Maybe he just wants to be KD that bad. I don't know. Maybe. Side note, before we go to the next question, let me show y'all something. This is something you guys should do immediately. Y'all also do this for me. If you got Twitter, go ahead and go and follow your boy on Twitter. Young Mustard 23. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that, y'all. But let's go to the next question that we got here. My boy D Future said, how are you going to react if the Knicks win it all? If the Knicks win it all, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm not going to be mad. I used to be a big time Knicks hater. And I have to say, at the end of the day, I got to give credit where credit is due. These niggas are hooping. They're hooping. Now, do I think it's the greatest competition in the world that they're facing? Absolutely not. I mean, you beat the Hawks with Jalen Johnson, who's one of the most flawed half-court players in the history of basketball. I'm gassing it, but you get my point. Then you face not Phoenix Suns. You face the Philadelphia 76ers with no Joel Embiid pretty much. I mean, he misses a game or two, right? Comes back and he's not even 100%. So you got Tyrese Maxey first option hoops. That's not fucking working. Sweep, obviously. And then in the next round, you face the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I've said it once and I'll say it again till I'm fucking in the grave. Donovan Mitchell is not a first option on a championship team. It's never going to fucking happen. These volume scoring guards who have playmaking limitations, especially the undersized ones, and are not great defenders. These Donovan Mitchells, these Devin Bookers, and he's not undersized, but still some of those things apply. Devin Bookers, these Bradley Beals, they're just not players that are going to be number one options on championship teams. They have clear ceilings on how great they can be and how far they can take your team. And it ain't no damn championship. Because even when Devin Booker made the damn finals, you could argue Chris Paul was the best player. I still think it was Devin Booker, but regardless, it was argument. It was an argument. So no, I'm not going to be mad if the Knicks win, because it would just mean they prove me wrong, and I like seeing people prove me wrong. I like seeing it. My boy Div, he said, you planning to upload videos again? Yeah, I am. I'm planning to get back into my bag with this. Expect live streams throughout this entire finals. Maybe a couple throughout the off season, depending on what moves we see. And we'll go from there. Unlimited Range, he said, start bench cut 2026 playoff disappointments edition, I assume. Harden, Duren, Chet. Whew. Well, off the rip, I'm cutting Jalen Duren. Off the rip. Man, Jalen Duren, it's sad. It's sad to see what Jalen Duren became. Jalen Duren was somebody that coming into the playoffs, I was saying this guy is a top 20, 25 player in the league. He was actually improving as a self-creator, not just somebody benefiting off lobs and putbacks. Like, I can even pull the tape up. Jalen Duren was actually hooping for real. Like, Jalen Duren was actually going crazy at one point this year. Here it is right here. Like, for everybody that thinks Jalen Duren was just doing it because he had Cade Cunningham. Like, this is his scoring on the ball. Now, granted, Alex Sarr is Alex Sarr. But look at him. He's actually getting buckets, legit, in ISO. You know, his ability to push the ball. He had a nice little decent handle for himself. He even had a little midi like that, stop and pop. And one thing even about him is that he was hooping without Cade at the end of the season. I think the last 13, 14, 15 games, the man was averaging like 22 and 12. It's crazy to see what he's become. Man walked into the playoffs, got his chain snatched by fucking Wendell Carter. The nigga that took his girl from him. Crazy work. Fucking crazy work. But yeah, he's getting cut off the rip, without a doubt. He lost so much fucking money, it's insane. I'm going to bench Chet, and I'll start James Harden. All right. Chet was really good against the Lakers. Regardless, both these niggas, you could swap that. Duren's getting cut. That's the easiest one of all. My boy Div again asked, can I praise the king of New York, Jalen Brunson, for him? Mitchell, I see your question about Alex Sarr. Please. Can I praise the king of New York, Jalen Brunson? I already did. Look, Jalen Brunson, I'm going to say this about Jalen. Jalen Brunson constantly proves people wrong. That's just his thing, right? He came into the league out of Villanova, and he wasn't a top pick. He grinded for his spot on the roster when he was in Dallas. He kept moving on up, eventually became a starter, right? Moved from 6-man to starter, and a really good starter. And then Luka goes down and he goes crazy in the playoffs against the Jazz in the first round. Hoops in the next round against the Suns. And then, of course, maybe fizzled out at the end against the Warriors. But regardless, he had a great playoff run at that point in his career. And the Mavs could have brought him back. But the Knicks offered him a contract. The Mavs didn't want to pay him that money. Or at least, I think the Mavs wanted to keep him. But I think they didn't even offer him the contract I think he wanted at some point earlier in the season. They could have kept him earlier in the season, but they didn't want to offer him a contract, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but it was something up with the contract in the middle of the year. But I know they could have had him, right? He goes to New York, and a lot of people at that time, if you just go and look and listen to what people were saying, right? Like, I remember Nick Wright said something about Jalen Brunson. I could pull it up right now. It's the craziest shit now to look back on. Nick Wright said something about Jalen Brunson being overrated and they shouldn't have signed him to that contract. Find it right now. And pull that shit up. It's actually crazy. If you go and look at some of the takes that people had about the Knicks, it's wild to think about. Fucking ad. Let me get that shit out of here. It's wild to hear some of the shit people were saying about Jalen Brunson.
It's an awful idea. And I like Jalen Brunson's a fine player. But Wild's pal Bill Simmons put it perfectly when he called it the saddest sweepstakes ever. The Jalen Brunson sweepstakes.
That's what people were saying. And I'm not going to kill Nick Wright for this because, hindsight is, 2020. But this is the kind of shit people were saying about Jalen Brunson. They said the Knicks were sad to have to wait on Jalen Brunson, plan out how we're going to get Jalen Brunson in the offseason. Like, these are the things people were saying. Nobody thought Brunson was going to go to New York and, what was this? 3 years ago. Actually, it's 2022. Nobody thought 4 years later they're going to be in the NBA Finals. Nobody thought that. If you thought that, you're lying or you're a delusional Knicks fan. I even think the delusional Knicks fans did not think this was going to happen. So he's proven people wrong every step of the way. And now he's up 1-0 in the NBA Finals after a clutch-ass fourth quarter, despite an injury to start the game, being down during the game, and willing his team to victory at the end. He does this over and over and over. Somebody said what Chris Broussard said is worse. Y'all want to keep playing the video? All right, I'll keep playing it.
Is Jalen Brunson one of the 10 best point guards in basketball? Maybe he's 10th.
Yeah, maybe he's 10th. Now that's aged like fucking milk. This guy's a top 5 point guard in the league, easily. A top 10 player in the NBA. But let me go to what Bruce said. Someone said Bruce said something crazy.
the son of Leon Rose. So I don't know. I don't.
Well, look, Nick, you're clearly fair and right to tear apart this regime, but you could have done it with the previous regime and the previous regime and the previous regime.
True.
I mean, it's the Knicks. Well, that's the thing.
To be fair, that's not wrong. The Knicks management has been rough. They've been rough over the last 20 years or so, right? Whether the Isaiah Thomas years, Steve Francis, the way that ended, Carmelo Anthony and Phil Jackson's relationship, Lynn Sandy, how that fizzled out, Mike D'Antoni, how Porzingis was handled and how he left the organization. There's been a lot of bad things that's happened in New York over my lifetime, which is why I never took them serious as a franchise. Even when Carmelo was there, I knew there was a ceiling on that team. I never thought they'd win a championship. Even this year, I did not think they'd win a championship. Did not think they'd even come close. I really thought other teams were levels above them. And usually just the way they usually fizzle out at the end of years. Or at least I thought there was a chance they'd come out the East because, and if you really think about it, a lot of people thought there was a chance they'd come out the East, but nobody thought they could win a championship. They thought whoever comes out the West is just going to run their way through the finals. And don't think that's not possible still, because even if the Knicks win this game, we've seen series where a team can win a game or two. Remember the Suns, they went up 2-0 on the Bucks. Bucks won 4 straight. It happens. But as far as criticizing the Knicks front office, those were legitimate things to critique. A lot of their moves didn't make sense. I remember there was one offseason, they thought they were going to get KD and Kyrie, and they planned that shit out. And a part of their plan was, we got to get the first overall pick. If a part of your pitch to KD and Kyrie is luck in the lottery, you're already a step behind. But they end up getting the 3rd pick and get RJ fucking Barrett. And then they get RJ Barrett, and in the meeting to get KD, they're like hesitant to give him the max contract? Huh? And KD wanted to go there, but you're hesitant to give this guy a max. Interesting. And then they went out there after they didn't get KD and Kyrie, and they went to Brooklyn across the street. They get Julius Randle. They get Bobby Portis. They get, I can't even remember. They got like 4 players that played power forward. It was crazy. Couldn't believe that shit. But yeah, he's not wrong about that. They just turned things around recently. They took things slow, made smart decisions, smart trades, built their team in a way that could complement Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns in ways that were the best option possible, right? Versatile wings that could go and get their own bucket here and there, score 20 on any given night in OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, right? You get a backup big that you can run a 2 big lineup with at times in Mitchell Robinson, right? They got some other quality guards that can space the floor, like a Deuce, like a they picked up Clarkson this offseason, but they got Deuce, they got Landry Shamet, right? They've built their team, and then they got Josh Hart, who's like a 5-tool player outside of his scoring. He could do everything other than score, really. Good passer, good rebounder, good defender, gets in passing lanes, is scrappy, and then on any given night, random night, he can knock down some threes for you. So I gotta give the Knicks their props where it's due. They've turned that shit around over there.
And they have lost the benefit of the doubt now. When Leon Rose and Worldwide West took over, obviously everybody's excited about West. He's a great networker. He knows everybody throughout the league. But this wasn't college basketball. This is more of an even playing ground where other teams have money and can offer as much as you can. And as much as West, his reputation is legitimate, I didn't think it would translate necessarily or automatically to being a general manager in the NBA. As far as Leon, people thought, hey, look at Bob Myers, former agent, has been wonderful with the Warriors. Rob Pelinka, even if you want to rip him, look, it's under his watch, right? That they got LeBron and they got AD and they won. So you could say, hey, former agent, look at what he's done. That's what New York was thinking. And obviously that's not the case. So they've now lost the benefit of the doubt. and the fans don't believe in him. But let me get specifically to this signing. It's fine. You're right. I don't think he's top 10. I mean, he might not be top 14, but guess what?
Wow.
4 years, 110 million, $27.5 million per year. That makes him the 14th highest paid point guard in the NBA.
Hell no, we ain't showing no commercials out here. Fuck that. But I mean, that's not that. Even at that time, that was not a bad contract. Like in hindsight, that was not a bad contract.
Fine with that.
Okay.
Especially since next summer, it won't ruin the Knicks' chances of having max space.
Somebody said what Broussard said was worse. He didn't even say nothing crazy. Y'all set me up here. Y'all wasted my damn time watching that. Point is, though, you know, he's proven all the doubters wrong at every single step of the way. And Brunson deserves his props. He's the king of New York. No disrespect, Jay, but Brunson's the king of New York right now. And if they win a championship, he is going to be such an icon in that city. Such an icon. I'm telling you. I mean, he already done dethroned Carmelo Anthony years ago, but I'm telling you, he's going to be such an icon. Someone said no YouTube Premium. No, I don't got that shit, bro. Chill. I'm just a regular guy like y'all, bro. Do y'all got YouTube Premium? Shit, let me get y'all account if y'all do. You feel me? Let me get y'all account if y'all do got YouTube Premium. Help a brother out. Let's go to the next question. Towns MVP, Kawhi Spurs reunion, Giannis to OKC pure cinema. What moves do you think these teams make in the offseason? I think it's too early to say the Spurs. I don't think the Spurs are going to make like a major move. Now, if Kawhi wanted to go there, that's different. Doubt he is. He'd probably have to take a huge pay cut because they can't sign him outright. Towns MVP, I assume you mean Finals MVP. Right now, I feel like, let's say they just stopped the series and gave Finals MVP. I still think they'd give it to Brunson because, and that sounds crazy because Cat played a better game, but Brunson, she still dropped like 30, right? And in the clutch, who hit all those big shots? It was Jalen Brunson. So I do think if they were going to give a Finals MVP out after this game, I think it still would be given to Jalen Brunson. Giannis to OKC. Honestly, if I'm OKC, I'm just running it back. Make a couple of minor adjustments here and there, but just run that shit back. They have no reason to believe that if they had J-Dub, then they still could have won that series. Truly, it went to 7. They lost single digits in a game J-Dub wasn't there, and Chet played the worst game 7 in the history of basketball. Truly, it's up there. So, yeah. If I'm OKC, I just run that shit back. Mitchell, my boy, asked, do you think the Wizards are making the playoffs next year? Honestly, they could, but they're not making too much noise outside of just making it if they do. It really also depends on the health of Anthony Davis, which is just the biggest wild card in this fucking league at this point. Trae Young's got to be healthy. He's also suffered some neck injuries. And how good is he even going to look because he's been inconsistent? And AJ DeBounster, I assume he's going to be the first overall pick. What's his impact like coming into the league as a rookie? How can he impact that roster around that team? Not only Trae and AD, but you got Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, and others. So it's going to be interesting to see how he fits with that roster and what his immediate impact can be in the league. Who had the better playoff run, the Patriots or the Knicks? The Knicks. Everybody knows the Patriots. You talk about fake runs. That was a fake, nasty-ass run. I mean, what are we doing here? That was disgusting. That was disgusting. Y'all like up this stream, by the way. I'm telling y'all, we get to 50 likes before I finish up these questions and finish up my outro, then we will do maybe I'll bring some of you guys up. I'll try to bring some of you guys up. But next question. What do you think about Knicks fans, not claiming Stephen A. Smith as a Knicks fan? I'm not going to lie. Y'all got to claim Stephen A. Smith. I ain't his biggest fan, but he been riding with y'all through the thick and thin. I mean, one of the biggest memes in NBA history on Twitter, on social media, is that video of him just sitting there, and then in the background you hear him saying, "I am having the worst day ever," yada yada yada. Like, and that was actually the offseason. They didn't get KD and Kyrie, like I mentioned earlier, when he was upset because they got Julius Randle and Bobby Portis and all these bigs and shit. So y'all got to give him his props. He stood through y'all through the thick and thin. I remember back then he was talking, he was reporting on like the Steve Francis situation and having a fucking crash out about it. You know, so y'all can't say Stephen A not a real fan. He's a real Knicks fan. Come on now. Let's not do that to him. Someone else said, how hurt do you think Brunson's knee and ankle is? Honestly, he looked fine at the end of the game, but I don't know if that's just the adrenaline and him being that good to power through it, especially in the clutch when he is really at his best. So that's kind of tough, but you know, he's going to get a day off, a rest. And I assume he's going to be back to form. I assume he's going to play up to his capabilities, maybe a little worse, but at this point in the playoffs, everybody's banged up, which is why I don't want to hear that excuse if they lose. Everybody's banged up at points. You know, players twist their ankles all the time, and times it ain't even caught on the camera. You'd be surprised how often it is to tweak your ankle. Happens all the time. How many loose balls you die for? Your ankle gets rolled on. As a big, especially, right, for somebody like Wemby, you know how easy it is for, an elbow to hit you in the ribs, and now like your rib is hurting for the whole series now. Nobody know about it, but you got to keep that shit in because that's just typical big man shit that happens every fucking play. So I don't want to hear nothing about his ankle. He played well enough at the end of that game, got them the W. I don't hear nobody complaining about his injury now. So, yeah. How good, and then this will be the final question. How good will the Pacers be with a healthy Hallie next season? Oh, there's one more question. I'll answer this and then I'll wrap it up. How good will the Pacers be? I think they'll be about what they were before, like a 50-so win team, upper half of the Eastern Conference. Depending on the streak and the run they go on in the playoffs, can still make the Eastern Conference Finals, if not win the East. I'm not expecting them to, just because that's a lot of pressure to put on a team whose best player comes back from an Achilles tear. And he ain't even Jason Tatum. And look at what the Celtics went through in that first round. He's going to have a full season, though, under his belt to really get his basketball shape back to him. But I'm not really expecting them to win the championship, but I expect them to be contenders with Hallie back. And I like that Zubac pickup. I think Zubac is good. It sucks that they gave up a pick that I think was the 5th overall pick, ended up being the 5th or 6th pick or whatever it was, to the Clippers. Clippers needed that more than the Pacers, don't get me wrong. But, giving that up for Zubac, that's a little rough. That's tough. I ain't gonna lie, that's tough. But yeah, let's move on to the final question here. What is Harper's ceiling? I assume he's talking about Dylan Harper. Honestly, I think Dylan Harper could be an all-NBA player within the next 2-3 years. Truly. He should be an all-NBA performer. It really is just dependent on... Oh, shit. I didn't even mean to delete that man's question. My bad, bro. Shit, my bad. But to me, Dylan Harper's ceiling, I think he could be an elite, obviously elite offensive player. It's not just that he's able to get to the rim. He's so crafty with his ability to finish at the rim, right? Like if there's traffic, he can easily contort his body in midair, adjust on the fly. I would like for his vision to get a little bit better. Sometimes he just drives to the rim and just forgets everybody else. But he's still a good passer. Like when he locks in, he's like that. And going downhill, he's one of the most unstoppable players at his position already. Like he's great when he goes downhill. Sean said I didn't want to send him to stream Knicks in 6. Spurs in 6 still, buddy. Spurs in 6. You'll find out on Friday. But I like Dylan Harper. I think Dylan Harper is going to be great, truly. I think he's going to be fine. But that wraps up this stream. I appreciate you guys for showing up and showing out. Y'all, please make sure y'all like this stream, share it with your buddies, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that for me. Go ahead and do that for me. We're on a mission. I'm going to try to get us to 100K before the end of this year. Y'all, please do that. I appreciate every second that you guys watching me. And y'all stay safe. Y'all have a great day. I'm out.